Good afternoon. My name is David Lloyd. I'm a professional wedding, portrait, and fashion photographer and photographic and digital tutor. Today, we're going to be talking about off-camera flash. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically, when we use the small portable flash units like you see here on top of the camera, well, we get very hard and harsh lighting. I'm going to show you how taking that off of the camera will produce really wonderful light. And as a photographer, you do want to have good lighting. That's very important. Now, if we look at this basic assembly, there are a few components here. We have a light stand, we have a boom arm, we have an umbrella adapter, we have some kind of a little gadget here which is important. We have a radio trigger by Scott Robert Lim Photography, and we also have our flash unit, and last but not least we have our umbrella. Now that may seem like a pretty elaborate setup, but it's actually a very basic kit. And we're going to talk about how to put that together because it's a very important component in our use of off-camera flash. When we consider using off-camera flash, there's two things that we want to keep in mind. One is, well, where do we put the lights? And secondly, what kind of light quality do you want out of each light that's going to illuminate your scene? Well, with our first kit, which you have seen displayed here, and I'll talk about the components, this will give you very soft light on your subject when you're about 4.5 feet away. And we'll talk about that a little bit further. Another really important thing is how in the world do we set exposure? Well, that will be covered too. How to manually expose your photos using off-camera flash. Manual on the camera and manual on the flash. It's a simple little formula that you'll be sure and enjoy using because it will make you a much more creative photographer. So let's take a look at the individual components, primarily this area right in here. Now, when we set up a flash unit on a light stand, normally it would be sitting straight up, pointing way, way high on the umbrella. That's not really a very good idea, and the reason that it isn't is we want the light to be centered and to flow through the full circumference of the light. In order to accomplish that, we have a little 90-degree angle ball head made by Giotto. That's part of the kit, and I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. Let's see how this fits together. Well, first thing, we want our flash, to be pointing straight. Notice that we also have the little radio trigger here, which we'll talk more about a little bit later. Another very important element is this 14mm Fresnel lens. Now, why do you think we might be wanting to use that? Well, I'll show you. Let's put the flash unit right on the umbrella adapter here. Notice that with that right angle ball adapter from Giotto, snug it down here, that the flash unit is now pointing at the direct center of the umbrella. Very, very important. Also, with this little unit out and down, we know that the light is going to spread over the full circumference of the umbrella. Let's see what happens when we don't use that. I'm going to trigger the flash, and if you look at the center of the umbrella, it's just going to be the center that illuminates. Did you see that? Let's try it again, except this time let's put the 14mm Fresnel lens over the flash unit. We'll just drop it down just like that. Pretty easy to do. We're going to trigger the flash one more time, and voila. we have completely filled the umbrella. That means that our light over here at our subject is going to be quite a bit softer. It's a very important but little known fact of how to set up this speed light properly. So thank you for tuning in. That's our first basic lesson, and we're going to be talking about more of the features, such as how do we set exposure, etc., in just a little bit.